Here we go again, year 10. So another 6-mark question for you. Discuss the place-specific details that led to the formation of a hurricane. I've boxed 3 command words that can come up in terms of the question being asked. Examine, discuss, and outline. But in all of those wordings of the question, we're going to be asked to do the same thing, which is outline, discuss, or examine the unique conditions that were required for the storm that we're looking at, which is Hurricane Sandy, to form and eventually land around New York. Okay, so I've done my best to draw a map here of all of the unique conditions. I'm also going to be adding to that map a little bit in terms of when we talk about the nor'easter down here, because I think that one is one of the most challenging concepts in geography. So let's get straight into it. We need 3 unique conditions to talk about for the Hurricane Sandy formation. We're going to start off with the tropical storm conditions. We've got the equator here, and we know that between 5 to 15 degrees of latitude, the horizontal lines on our world map, between those 5 to 15 degrees of latitude, tropical storms form north or south of the equator. We're going to focus on the north because Hurricane Sandy happened in the northern hemisphere. Okay, it happened because of the Coriolis effect, and that's why it doesn't happen flat along the 0 degrees latitude. It happens in that region there. And we also require 2 other things. We need 26.5 degrees Celsius temperature water, and we need 60-meter depth of water. Another way of saying 60 meters is 150 feet approximately. So the Gulf of Mexico is more or less where most of these storms near the United States of America will form. Okay, now what they will do is, in that warm water current, they will be transported northeast. Okay, now when they get to around this region, your hurricane is going to rebound off of this high pressure system. A high pressure system, an area of high pressure where air is pressing down over the ocean. Okay, but what happens is, with the arrows that are pointing this way suggesting that's the direction of the wind, it's going to hit off of this hurricane and it's going to push it towards New York. Now, interesting thing that happens after that, after the Azores Bermuda High rebounds the hurricane that direction, is the Labrador current and the jet stream, or the polar jet stream. So an ocean current, kind of like an underwater motorway, and a bit of wind coming from the poles is going to come together with this hurricane, this storm that's already formed and made its way in this direction, and it's going to create that nor'easter. So our nor'easter is going to be formed in this region here. Okay, it's going to be moving like this. So eventually that nor'easter is going to make its way into New York, and we have those difficult conditions for people when it lands, and the problems that happened as a result of that. But these are our main 3 things that we want to talk about in the first half of our answer, and then we can explore the reasons why this doesn't happen in the southern hemisphere or in any other part of the world, because it's very unique. It requires this perfect mixture of these 3 conditions. Okay, so that's the content. That's how this hurricane formed, and then we're going to go into some of the specific time and location name details. We're going to start our answer with something like a hurricane that I've studied is, and we're going to say Hurricane Sandy. And once we've done that, we want to outline kind of what we're going to talk about in the rest of our answer. We're going to mention these conditions, which was formed as a result of unique northern hemisphere conditions. And of course, we're already accessing some pretty level 3 ideas here, because we know that it's only happening in this part of the world. So unique northern hemisphere conditions, and you could go on and give your examples there very briefly, or you can go straight into it. It's whichever way you want to do it. You can say when it happened, and we know that Hurricane Sandy happened on the 24th of October. So a nice opening for you in terms of how you want to word the beginning of your answer. It has a nice clear structure, and we are outlining exactly what we want to talk about in our answer in terms of those northern hemisphere place specific and unique conditions. So we are accessing that element of the question in what we're about to talk about. As you go down, you basically say what we've talked about in the content, and you're going to say that tropical storm conditions in a new paragraph down here. I'm not going to go and write the answer for you, because of course I want you to do your own wording of it. Okay, but in a new paragraph we're going to talk about ocean temperatures, which are unique to the formation of tropical storms. We're going to talk about the 60-meter water depth. We're going to talk about 5 to 15 degrees of latitude being where the hurricane formed around the Mexican Gulf. Okay, that again is a place-specific detail, and we're going to continue to refer to this idea of place-specific details because it's so important to the question. We're going to continue on. We're going to say it moves northeast. Move northeast towards the Bermuda High. And another name for the Bermuda High is the Azores belt of high pressure. And that's in the Atlantic Ocean. So again, another place-specific detail that we can mention. So already 3 things that we can talk about in terms of being a unique place-specific hurricane that we've studied. Hurricane Sandy, can't mention it enough. And just briefly say that it rebounded off of that belt of high pressure towards New York, towards the United States coast, where it met with the Labrador Current. And the polar jet stream from Canada. Separate these for you. Alright, and lots of things for us to talk about. So we're already looking at a huge amount of detail in our answer, working our way towards that 6 marks that we want to achieve. And then the last thing we need to talk about here in this particular section is where it combines with those currents and the jet stream, the wind and the ocean current, to form a nor'easter as it makes its way into New York. So when it lands in New York, all of those different conditions have formed a nor'easter pressure system or storm. So again, separate those ideas for you. You've got lots of ideas there now, lots of things that we can talk about for those opening sections, what makes them unique being your ocean temperatures and water depth, and the various place named areas that you need to mention. The question is not asking you to talk about effects on people, on animals, on economy, or on the quality of people's life or health services, things like that. It's not asking you to do that, so do not talk about it. You will be wasting your time, and you will not be graded. You will not be getting any marks on that. Make sure that you have a conclusion, and in your conclusion, these are the conditions that have led to the unique storm Hurricane Sandy forming as a result of the various conditions that we've mentioned. Okay, so I hope that this has been helpful for you, and please give this answer a go. Submit it on Google Classroom. Subscribe and like the video. Subscribe to the channel St. Paul's Academy Geography, which would be absolutely brilliant. We want to get as many followers as we can, exposure to our brilliant geographical topics that we need to learn. And do not comment, because you won't be able to, because it's been disabled, but you can comment on Google Classroom to let me know how the video helped you. Okay, thank you very much, Year 10, and good luck.